Hi, I'm Darlene Griffiths, and this is my case study for EDL 951, Copyright in the Computer, Regulations Governing Technology. So let's start with the facts. Where did this occur? St. Regis is a K-8 school in a small rural area. They have a student population of about 420 students, so they have 2 teachers at each grade level and 2 special ed teachers. So who is involved? Well, there's Mrs. Brandon, who's a new teacher at St. Regis with 3 years of experience. There's Keith Sample, the principal, who's been there for 3 years, who has more supporters than resistors, and has worked hard to establish positive relationships both in and out of the school. There's Mrs. Lynn, the library media specialist, who also is the computer lab teacher. And then there's an active fundraising group through the PTA. So after the PTA fundraisers, teachers were asked what software programs would align with their instructional objectives. They submit a list. Mrs. Lynn and the principal prioritize the list, and then Mrs. Lynn ordered the programs. So when the software comes in, it's put on the computer labs and the computers in the computer lab for use by the teachers and the students. So it sounds like St. Regis has a meager state allocation when it comes to finances. So they rely heavily on the 2 major PTA fundraisers because the school's annual budget provides just basic materials with a small amount dedicated to purchasing computers or new software. So they rely heavily on that PTA. So after 4 months, teachers want to use the new software on their single computers in their classrooms. They no longer want to go to the computer lab. So they asked Mrs. Lynn to copy the new software so it can be installed on their classroom computers. And despite copyright restrictions, Mrs. Lynn goes ahead and makes those copies and starts handing them out. So here's where the conflict occurs. Mrs. Brandon, that new teacher, won't accept a copy of the computer software from Mrs. Lynn, and she points out that it's a copyright violation. Mrs. Lynn becomes disgruntled with Mrs. Brandon's refusal, and so there's a conflict between these 2 teachers in addition to the copyright conflict. So Mrs. Brandon stops by the principal's office and she explains her concern about these bootleg copies. So there are some legal and ethical issues here. Mrs. Lynn has made 24 copies to be distributed to the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade teachers to use in their classrooms at Independent Center activities. This is not only a copyright violation, it's also ethical. That software manufacturer is missing out on 24 copies of its computer program. We're talking about somebody's livelihood here. The school only purchased enough licenses for the 20 computers in the computer lab. So according to Simpson, to violate copyright because you have little chance of being caught is legally, ethically, and morally wrong. So to synthesize the situation, Mrs. Lynn, the computer lab teacher, has illegally copied computer software onto flash drives and she's distributing them to the teachers. What are the facts that we know? Well, Mrs. Lynn, along with the help of the PTA president, have made these copies to go on the computers in the classrooms. Mrs. Lynn justifies her actions by saying that she's saving the school money. Who cares if our little school makes copies? No one's going to know, which is an ethical issue here. The PTA president is also pleased that they are stretching their PTA dollars to help all students and teachers, and both PTA president and Mrs. Lynn agree that our students deserve the best. What else do we know? Well, Mr. Sample, the principal, informs Mrs. Lynn that her actions violate copyright law. Her actions could result in serious consequences for the school district, and herself. Mr. Sample also tells Mrs. Lynn to collect all the copies of the computer software and to stop making any more. So what do we not know? We don't know how many teachers have already taken these copies and installed them on their classroom computers. We aren't sure at this point what the financial consequences are going to be for violating copyright law. Someone's going to have to delete the programs. Does the PTA president know that this is a copyright violation and it has consequences? And how can the principal explain this to the PTA without losing their support? And then how is Mrs. Lynn going to react to the request to stop and desist? So let's review and prioritize the information. Since the PTA raised the money to buy the computer software, they will think that they can dictate how it's going to be used. So that could be a problem. Mr. Sample took Mrs. Brandon's information and went straight to the source of the problem, which was Mrs. Lynn. This could be a conflict between these two teachers now that will have to be resolved. He confronted Mrs. Lynn, but she saw no issue with what she was doing, and she had several teachers accepting the bootleg software. And the PTA also seems to be praising her for her cost-saving measures. So there are several issues going on here. So what are our options and possible consequences? Well, does your school board have a policy in place? What does your staff handbook say? What financial consequences are associated with these copyright violations? And I would need to attend the next PTA meeting to explain why this should not be done. And I would expect some pushback from the PTA. So I need to find some examples of rural districts that have had to pay damages for copyright violations. We'd also be needing to destroy all the bootleg copies of the software or uninstall them off the computers. We need to go over copyright law, sounds like, at the next faculty meeting, or have the principals do that. Software, according to my board policy, software acquired by staff using either district or personal funds and installed on district computers or electronic devices must comply with copyright laws. So possibly give Mrs. Lynn a written reprimand that will go in her personnel file. Depending on how she reacts, it may come down to firing Mrs. Lynn, because we need to protect the school, we need to promote student success, and we need to promote adult success, which in this case involves the teachers as well as the PTA. So let's evaluate my options. I can ask Mrs. Lynn to destroy all the copies and make no big deal of it. I can give her a written reprimand in her personnel file if she grudgingly cooperates and destroys the copies. If she goes on and leads a group of teachers to go against the principal's instructions, I think she would need to be let go for insubordination along with the copyright violations. I see a need to go over copyright law at the next faculty meeting and be sure to include board policy and the teacher handbook guidelines. If there were nothing in the board policy, that would need to be something that would be adopted immediately. I see a need to attend the next PTA meeting and explain the implications of violating copyright law. And of course, we have to uninstall and destroy all the copies. We need to post our board policy so that stakeholders know where we stand on this. And then we could send home notes with students explaining the new software and how it will be implemented properly and give credit to the PTA for the purchase. So of those options, I think the best options would be to, of course, remove and destroy all the illegal copies, review copyright law, board policy, and handbook at the next faculty meeting, remind my staff that they can access the purchased software in the computer lab as much as they want, and ask our IT person to keep records of all software purchased and installed on school computers so this doesn't happen again. And then ask to be on the agenda at the next PTA meeting, and be sure to provide relevant examples that the members can relate to. So to implement my decision, first, next faculty meeting. I know that there's going to be more copyright issues brought up when I address this. Make sure that I address those new issues. Ask participants to sign a form stating that they have attended and understood the training, according to Simpson. Destroy all illegal copies. IT, Mrs. Lynn, the principal can do that, and then I need to follow up a week later to ensure that that is done. Attend the PTA meeting and be sure to share the amount lost to the software designer so that they can understand from a personal perspective. And then Mrs. Lynn's consequences will depend on her level of cooperation. It could be no big deal or could result in the end of her career at St. Regis. Plan B, if those fall apart, is to only have computers in the computer lab where software can be monitored. No classroom computers might be a solution. And here are the resources that I used. Thank you so much.